to discuss what they say is now America's most urgent national security threat.
The ramifications are all going to be very real as we look at the changing nature of what's going on in Yemen, a protected stronghold for al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula.
The al-Qaeda group has been on Washington's radar for some time. It's suspected of waging a campaign to radicalize U.S. citizens, even inspiring Nadel Hassan, the man charged with killing 13 people at a U.S. Army base in Texas. So last month, the Pentagon doubled its military assistance to the Yemen government to fight al-Qaeda. But mounting anti-government protests in Yemen are making Washington nervous about its allies' future. What happens if the government falls? It's a question AlJazeera put to the U.S. State Department.
Yes, Yemen is a very important country to the United States.
So what impact does this unrest have on that security concern?
Well, they're not mutually, they're not mutually exclusive. In other words, there is a genuine security concern in Yemen that is a concern for Yemen and for the United States.
But members of the Yemeni American community argue the al-Qaeda threat in Yemen is overstated. If the government collapses, they say al-Qaeda would have little support.
Al-Qaeda has no base with the Yemeni people. Al-Qaeda is hated in Yemen.
Despite the challenges of the Yemen protests, Washington's hopeful any imminent threats can still be contained. Kimberly Halkett, AlJazeera, Washington.
Foreigners who've been working in Libya have been trying to get out since the uprising began. But on the Tunisia-Libya border, those who come from the African country of Ghana say they're being discriminated against, and many feel their governments abandoned them. Mohammed Ball reports.
Anger and protest at Ras Jdir on the Libyan border with Tunisia. More than a week after they have crossed the border, fleeing the fighting in Libya, these African workers from Ghana are feeling desperate, and they say they've been let down by their country.
We want to go! We want to go! We need the help!
It's very clear these Ghanaians are not angry with the Tunisian government. They said they love the Tunisian government. They said they love Tunisia, but they are angry with their own government, they say, because it has not come to help them.
They also complain of what they think is discrimination against them in the camp.
Everywhere we go, Bangladesh. We don't know where to eat. When we join a queue, tabu, Bangladesh, no Ghana, no Nigeria. You don't understand. We don't understand the reason why we are black or what.
But local Tunisian workers and volunteers are denying the charge.
Guys, you are in home here. You are home right now here.
Yes.
So we're gonna help you to go back. We will help you to go back.
Ghanaian migrants have described some of the horrors they went through before getting out of Libya.
You see, they take my money. They not stick on my back. We want to go Ghana. We want to go Ghana government to come and take us from here.
One of their wounded still cannot walk.
No problem. Keep quiet.
Another is writhing from cramps and fever inside the tent. It's obvious that the situation of these African workers was hazardous. The rebels accused them of serving as mercenaries for the Libyan regime, and at the same time, they say they have been beaten and looted by Gaddafi's security forces. After all those hardships, they now have only one demand.
When are you taking us? When are you taking us back to Ghana?
Mohammed Val, AlJazeera, Ras Jdir on the Libyan-Tunisian border.
Well, let's hear from Ahmed Shabani, who talks on behalf of the Libya Agency for Relief and Humanitarian Assistance, joining us from Dubai. Tell us a little bit about the number of people you still think are stuck inside Libya, let alone those who've got out and faced those problems.
Well, I know of a bunch that got out of Libya by boat recently to Malta, and they're in Malta trying to evacuate there to where their homeland is. But there's still many people that are stuck there, Filipinos, Egyptians, you know, a lot of workers that are still in Libya.
Can you get any help to those inside, or is it only those who've made it across the border that you can deal with?
Well, we can get help to the eastern part of the country because it's been liberated, but Tripoli and Zawiya seem to be very difficult to get to at the moment.
And what reports are you receiving about those still inside? Let's talk about the eastern side of the country, from the refugees who've managed to get across. What are they saying about the conditions for those still in Libya?
Well, there's a shortage of everything, including fuel. Most important is fuel. I've got a correspondence with the interim government of Libya in Benghazi. They have requested humanitarian aid, fuel, most important, so these vehicles can move around and try to liberate the rest of the country, food supplies, medicine, and most important, they request the recognition of the new liberated government of Libya. They're in good spirits and determined to succeed to liberate the rest of Libya.
And where do you get the help from?
Well, we're trying to get it from anywhere possible, and it's ironic because Libya has a lot of oil, a lot of fuel, but right now it's not refinable. I mean, they've got control of it, but we need usable materials at the moment to get by for the next little bit to try to complete this this thing that we're so trying to deal with.
There's a phrase that's used a lot when it comes to situations like that, and it's humanitarian crisis. Now, in a lot of places that can be well applied, let's say after the Pakistan earthquake. This hasn't got to that stage yet, has it? I mean, people are facing difficulties rather than a crisis.
Well, it's difficulties at the moment, but I mean, I heard they've got maybe 8 to 10 days of fuel and food supplies and such sort. So pretty quick, it's going to become a crisis, yes.
All right, well, thank you very much indeed. Good to hear from you. Best of luck with everything you try to do.
Thank you.
In just a moment on this programme, why Gaza's truck drivers accuse Israel of tightening the siege on the territory. And what links the Hollywood blockbuster Avatar to a Canadian campaign to save an ancient forest? We'll tell you if you stay with us.
Hello, welcome to another look at the international forecast. We're starting in Australia, in that southeastern corner in particular, where high pressure in charge, so some lovely sunshine to come here. The lively weather remains further north, certainly across northern parts of Australia. Still some very heavy showers just around that western side of Queensland. These will tend to just push their way a little further westwards, but as you can see, the main focus for the very heavy rain will be across northern parts of Australia. Then it's kind of a T-shape right down the centre, some very heavy rain right the way into South Australia over the next couple of days. We will see the rain pushing its way into Adelaide, temperatures falling back to around 27 Celsius. But for the southeastern corner, set fair, more dry weather and plenty of sunshine. Sunshine too for that western side of Australia. Perth at around 32 degrees Celsius. We've got some sunshine to come too into New Zealand, but I think for central areas you could see some hefty showers over the next day or so. Starting to feel a little more like autumn now. Some blustery conditions to come over the next couple of days. And by Tuesday, I think a greater chance of seeing some showery rain coming in. But for the North Island, 19 Celsius, fine and dry for Auckland over the next day or two. Into Southeast Asia, well, it's the usual crop of heavy showers, the heaviest and most persistent showers across southernmost parts. Further north, rather more in the way of sunshine. Ka-ching at 30.